Howdy, 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 folks. OneStream is a little behind today. I'm over here on my personal X account following along. And it still says down at the bottom of the screen on my OneStream live screen, preparing. But I'm already there. So that's fine. It worked out. So, and I am happy today. College football is back. Yes. Watched a few games this week. You know, they're pretty much crappers. But hey, college football is college football. It's back. But right now, I got the granddaddy game going on. You know, it's Texas OSU. And I live in Texas. I am an Aggie. I am not a Longhorn. And I ain't rooting for Texas. I don't care who they're playing. So, go OSU. Come on, Buckeyes. Now, what was I watching? Oh, I was watching Baylor play last night. And, you know, so I was rooting for Baylor. You know, that's how it is. They're from Texas. So, but that does not hold true when it comes to Longhorns. So, got a great show for you lined up today, though. I think you're really going to enjoy it. This is a kind of a bold and flavorful pairing, but it is actually a budget-friendly pairing. And when you see some of this, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, it's really budget-friendly. So I am going to be pairing Early Times, Bottled and Bond, Kentucky Straight Bourbon with a Rocky Patel Sun Grown. I think it's going to be an excellent matchup. And so we're going to go ahead and get this thing underway. And just, you'll have to bear with me as I keep looking up, because right now it's on commercial. But I know I'm going to be doing a lot of that. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the secondary band on this thing. We'll have it ready. And when it comes to classic, like really wallet-friendly bourbon and a bold and really flavorful cigar, some of these pairings just kind of click together. That wasn't a very good sound. Early Times, Bottled and Bond, and the Rocky Patel Sun Grown, they are a perfect example of two affordable but character-rich staples that will kind of elevate each other, I think, beautifully. Now, Early Times, established 1860, been around a while. And it has been a kind of quiet favorite. I've been seeing more about it here lately with bourbon traditionalists. And the Bottled and Bond really shows why. It's distilled by Brown-Forman in Shively, Kentucky. And it follows the strict 1895, I believe, or 1897 federal law for Bottled and Bond. Which one of those is 100 proof, at least 4 years old, and from one distillation season. So you can't blend stuff from different seasons. The mash bill on this one is 79% corn, should be really good and sweet. 11% rye, so it should have a little pepper to it. And then 10% malted barley. Let's go ahead and glass some of this up. It is a budget-friendly, no cork. You know how I feel about that, but hey, you know, I mean, I'd be willing to pay an extra $1 or $2 a bottle to have a cork. That's just the way I am. But 100 proof. I don't want to do too much. All right. As you can see, oh, and also Mother Nature is not cooperating. You probably heard some thundering in the background. It is raining right now here at the No Shoes Bar and Grill. There's a little thunder rumbles around. So, you know, Mother Nature's getting involved. Anyway, take a look at that. That is a beautiful, like light copper color. Really nice kind of orangey hues to it, amber. So it's cloudy here today. I have to hold it out towards the clouds to kind of see. It's got really nice legs on it. I can already smell it wafting around on the nose. With 100 proof, there is a slight, and I do mean slight, hint of ethanol in the nose pretty much right away, but it's not like an overpowering, like, oh, it's just a nice little kind of tinges your nose, you know. But underneath that, you get this nice, like warm caramel kind of note with some vanilla mixed in there to kind of greet you up front, kind of get you drawn in. Then you get some really nice notes of sweet corn and some honey. And then you also get a little bit of toasted oak, a little bit of light like baking spices, and also maybe a touch of orange peel to kind of give it a little, a little brightness, a little zing. It's sweet and balanced, and it's very inviting on the nose, and it's not overpowering at all. Let's go ahead and give it a try. 100 proof. There is not really a lot of alcohol burn on the initial sip. It kind of grows, but that's a combination of the 100 proof with the 10% rye, which is going to make it a little more peppery anyway, a little spicier. But as the sip moves across your tongue, you don't really start kind of getting that spicy or ethanol burn until you get towards the back sides of your tongue. It's got a really, really great round flavor to it. We'll give it another sip here. You get that kind of classic bourbony caramel and vanilla, and then you get some more toasted oak, some nutmeg, and then also you get that kind of light rye spice, that kind of grainy spice. The corn sweetness is really what kind of provides that roundness to it, while the oak and I think there's also probably a little bit of citrus in there to give it a little bit of tart, and I think that really kind of brings in some structure to it. The finish is long, slightly dry. It's got oak up front and then caramel, and then there's a little kind of lingering touch of a citrus peel in there as well. So it's to be like a $25 bottle. It is a really great sipping experience. It really is. I mean, that's probably one of the best cheap bourbons that you could find, especially at 100 proof. It's not harsh at all. Very smooth. I think you'd really like it. But we're here to talk about more than just one thing. And my OneStreamLive still says preparing stream, even though I can see that I got about 4 or 5 people watching, and we just rolling along. So I don't know, OneStream's not catching up. All right, the Rocky Patel Sun Grown. Now this is different than the Sun Grown Maduro. That one has a white wrapper with red writing and everything on it. This is the Sun Grown. This one came out first. I smoked this one first probably 15 years ago, just kind of guessing. The Sun Grown Maduro is, I believe, a little bit newer release from Rocky Patel, but they're different, but they're both excellent in their own right. I did a review pairing on the Sun Grown Maduro a few weeks ago. If you hadn't seen it, go YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, and you can go look through back there and find it. Anyway, I keep waving this around like I'm Harry Potter. All right. This, as I said, I smoked this quite a while ago. You may be able to see the ball game in the background when I move just right. This has been a long-standing favorite for those who like a kick with some complexity. It is a full-bodied smoke with a peppery opening and that then mellows into layers of sweetness, and it really gets nice and deep. There's a really good depth to it. The filler is a Nicaraguan blend. The binder is Nicaraguan, and the wrapper is a Ecuadorian sun-grown Sumatra. So, on the nose, I get some hints of cedar, but a really nice earthy note in the beginning, backed up by a little bit of pepper and maybe a little bit of baking spice. And there's some kind of a, like natural tobacco that comes through. I also pick up some hints of like molasses and maybe a little touch of espresso beans. And if you've been around coffee roasting much, you can tell the kind of difference in the different roast levels. I used to own a coffee house, roasted my own beans, so I kind of remember all that stuff. There's also some kind of cocoa and some faint, like leathery depth to it as well. Now, visually, I probably should have did the visual first, but hey, we're improving here. I mean, as you can tell, this is a beautiful, nice, dark, kind of chocolate brown stick. It has very minimal veining, and there are only 2 or maybe 3 veins on the whole thing that are really pronounced like that. You can see there's a cross right there. Seams, they're invisible. I can't even tell where a seam is. So it's got a little bit of an oily sheen to it, maybe a hint of tooth, and it has a very large double cap to it. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Where are we at? I don't even know, because my OneStreamLive has never kicked in, so I don't have any idea how many minutes this has gone already. But everything's going good because I'm watching. All right, cold draw. I get some really nice notes of like grass or hay. There's some leather in there. There's a little bit of baking spice in it. Maybe a touch of cedar. Some pepper. It's a fairly easy draw, but not like real easy. It's just not extremely tight. I think it's got a really good solid draw to it. And there is a nice touch of sweetness to it as well. So I know y'all are ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna light this thing up using my Rocky Patel Envoy 5 torch. I believe in doing it right. I have a very bad habit of not getting it lit consistently all the way around, and so I end up kind of woppy jawed. That's old Arkansas term. Anyway, let's see where we're at here. I'm worried about baseball. Sorry, I'm really working on it here. In a lot of respects to the nose and the cold draw, I'm getting some really nice pepper notes, some baking spice. There's a touch of sweetness in there, maybe something along the lines of just a kind of a light honey sweetness. Some hints of leather and cedar. It's got a really kind of lively, nice depth to it. You don't get all the flavors all at once. They kind of roll one after the other. Wow, we're almost the end of the first quarter, and hey, nobody has scored yet. Yeah, it is. Like, I don't think that's me. I'm pretty sure that's not me. It's got a little craziness in the burn. Burn line is not razor straight. So, all right, let's try them together. This pair does really work well together. The early times caramel and vanilla notes kind of soften the cigar's kind of peppery opening and kind of smooths that entry. And then the cigar gives the spirit enough oomph and structure to kind of help meld those together. It's really good smoke and sip. So they're doing really well together. You have that little bit of orange zest in the spirit that just kind of gives it a nice little zing. Hang on, I'm thinking. Should have caught that ball. He was already turning his head upfield. Yeah, and the long finish on the early times really does kind of slow you down because you're still processing all of those palate flavors on the palate and on the finish for quite a while. So it definitely kind of forces you to slow down and enjoy everything. And you may notice the blowing the smoke in the glass. If you watch me every week, I always mention it, but it doesn't really mean anything. Just for me, I feel like it is the best way to get the palate notes of the cigar and the spirit together as closely as possible. Instead of taking a puff and then taking a sip, I want to see how those meld together because I've already sipped the spirit separately and I've already taken some puffs off the cigar separately. So now I want to see how they go together. So there you go. Ooh. The cigar is full flavored, but it does not have a lingering finish on it. It pretty well moves away pretty quickly. But again, that also allows you to really enjoy the finish on the early times. And I will also say that the early times does not drink like 100 proof. To me, it is as smooth and approachable as any regular 90 proof bourbon. It's a really good spirit. I mean, I'm surprised that they're selling it at this price point. It's a really nice smoke production off this stick. it's not a smoke monster. It won't fog you out, but at the same time, it's not hard to produce smoke. It does a really great job, and like I said, it had a really nice, maybe if you're going from a hard draw to a super easy draw, it's probably a little below halfway. If you're going out, 1 out of 10, it's probably around a 4. It's not too easy, where you might end up overdrawing and end up making yourself sick. But at the same time, you're not having to fight to draw on it. So, I had really forgotten how much I enjoyed this cigar. I used to keep a bunch of them in my humidor back in the early days because I started smoking 21 years ago. But after I started this show 5 years ago, I really started buying all different kinds of things. And I still got a lot of Rocky Patel in my Humi. This was the only Sun Grown I had left, though. So I have to get some more of these. I've still got I think 4 more of the Sun Grown Maduro, but this was the last one of these. And then I've got the Royal Vintage, which I may end up pairing here pretty soon. I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 of those left. I got quite a few of the 1990s. I've got like 15 of the Rocky Patel 60s. That's one of my favorite cigars. And then I got a couple of LB1s, a San Andres, which I really love too. That Rocky Patel San Andres stick is a really great stick. It is. I wish I could afford a whole box of those, but I've been buying them by the 5-pack when I can come up on them. Oh, we got a movie about a wildfire coming out, The Lost Bus. Apple TV. In theaters September 19th. See, you listen to this show and you pick up on some of the great entertainment news. I mean, we are a well-rounded show. We talk about lots of stuff. We talk college football. We talk movies. My Bayern Munich Reds play today, hoping they're going to win. So, we talk European football. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know about my team, and I know about, a little bit about Bundesliga. But, hey, like I said, well-rounded. Oh, and hey, even financial advice. I was replying to a post I saw on X before I came on here, and it was talking about starting to plan for your retirement when you're between 18 and 29. And I'm like, yes, definitely. Most people that are 18 to 29 years old are not thinking about retirement because it seems a lifetime away. But you will turn around and be 55 before you know it. And my first 23 years after I left high school, I ended up marrying somebody I shouldn't, and she ended up spending most of our money that we were trying to put back for retirement. Hey, a flash flooded morning. And now, here I am, 5.5 years from retirement. I'm trying to catch up. Because my financial planner, she laughed and said I didn't really have any finances to plan. And that, I could retire from my job at 62, but I'm going to have to get another one. The beauty of compound interest is your friend. That is, especially when you're 18 to 29, because that stuff's going to sit there and compound for 40 years, 35 years. That's a long time. You got your job, your 401k plan. That's all well and good, but you need an IRA. You need a self-directed IRA. You don't have to put a whole lot in it every time. $100 a month, something, and buy stocks that pay dividends. And I don't mean just dividends. I mean dividends. I've got over 6 stocks in my portfolio that pay over $1 per share per quarter. That's a lot of money when you're talking 35 years, especially when, stock prices go up, split, that kind of stuff. And I can't believe we're down to under 2 minutes the end of the first quarter and nobody scored yet. It's a good game. I am not a financial advisor, so this is not financial advice. This is just my own experience. Some of the ones that pay really great dividends for me, Valero Energy, stock price has been really good. Edison Consolidated, stock price has been really good. I also own several real estate investment trust companies. And they pay monthly dividends, not quarterly. So it's not as much, but it's like I have like 200 shares of one, and they pay like 18 cents per share per month. So you do make that multiplication and then multiply it times 12, and then multiply that times 35. It's free money, man. Free money. You have a whole lot better chance of making money by dividends than you do by hitting a stock that rockets to the top, because you'll find a whole lot more losers than you find winners. I have found one winner. Another one of mine that pays a really good dividend is Eli Lilly. I bought that stock at 75. It's actually down from its highs for the last year, but it closed at about $725 a share. I'm doing pretty well on those. So I have a couple of stretches too. You always have to have a couple of stretches, you know. I've got one that's they build hydrogen fuel cell engines specifically for like the transportation industry, freight moving, you know, like I guess you'd say the forklifts and all that kind of stuff. But I do honestly believe that hydrogen fuel cell engines are going to take the place of EVs because the whole battery, lithium, takes hours to charge, all that stuff. Yes, it's the first thing it's been the first really emerging technology as far as that goes. But these hydrogen fuel cells, you can fill them up in the same amount of time that it takes you to fill up a car, 10, 15 minutes at the most. Probably more like 6 or 7. And they get better gas mileage. You can get like 1,000 miles out of a tank. And what's the only exhaust coming out of it? Water vapor. That sounds like a win-win to me. So I have not been invested in the EV stuff. I've been invested in hydrogen fuel cells. AI is another one. Sorry, I'm going to tap that off before it goes in my lap. Oh. I will complain about my my Bayern Munich Reds board of directors or whatever they're called, the front office. They suck. We pissed away this transfer window, and we ended up with what's supposed to be a really great player after we missed like 3 or 4 because they wouldn't approve, spending the money. And now then they're at the point the window is closing in like a few days, and all they will do is loans from other teams. A team will loan us a player for like $15 million or 15 million euro, whatever. It's a lot either way. Oh yeah, and then next year we're right back in the same boat again. Are you more interested in making money or putting a winning championship team on the pitch? I don't know what that was. Something rolling around in there. We're almost to the halfway mark. I've been kind of paying attention here, so. There was an update on X. Something about the X app has been downloaded, I don't know, 250 zillion times or something, I don't know. But this Rocky Patel Sun Grown, this is a really great cigar. It's got those great palate flavors on it, but it also smokes very easy. It's not overpowering. I feel like I've probably been puffing away on it fairly regularly. And it doesn't leave a lot of residual cigar taste in your mouth. Like somebody you smoke a really strong, full flavored cigar, and you're still like tasting that like well after you've stopped smoking. This one, it kind of just fades away pretty well, and you're ready for the next puff, you know. And then when you're washing it down with this Early Times Bottled and Bond, which is really good, you know. So, excuse me. The burn line has pretty much straightened itself out. I don't even think I touched it up. So there's still that one little hook right there, but it's much smaller than it used to be. And that's what happens, you know, with a natural product. You hear these guys talk about, oh, it's a razor straight burn line. I'm like, it's a natural product. It's not going to burn razor straight. I mean, you know, it's going to have a little wiggle to it. It's just the way it is. But you also get that, you know, it's like cigarettes don't do that. Well, cigarettes don't do that because they are manufactured to be, you know, but that also puts a whole lot of in your body that you don't want. People, you know, you'll hear the medical people, oh, cigar smoking is no different than cigarette smoking. Yeah, it is. How? Well, cigars like this. The leaf is grown. They try to stay as organic as possible, so they don't put a whole lot of shit on it when it's growing. They harvest it, they bundle it up and hang it in a aging room to age, or barrel age it, or whatever they do. But that, again, nothing but the air. It's aged for however long it's aged. Then they you know, go in and get the leaves all sorted out the way they want them. They you know, any leaves that don't meet up to standards, they may be filler. Best leaves go on to be wrappers. Leaves that are almost good enough to be wrappers but not quite become binders. And then they hand all of this stuff to these well, most of the cigars are rolled in Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua. And so they have these little Honduran, Nicaraguan people, and these people will take a certain number of leaves depending on the blend, and then they roll them up really tight in a binder, and then they take the wrapper leaf and they roll them up in that. You'll have, before these go into the box to be sent, you'll have a half a dozen people or more touch this cigar, and little to no chemicals touch it. It is natural. Can't say that about cigarettes. Cigarettes is all about how many billions of them can they produce. All kinds of chemicals. You've got tobacco in there, you've got paper, you've got the fiber in the filter, you got all these different things. That's all not natural stuff. My great-grandfather smoked cigars, lived to be 96 years old. The only problem he ever had was he lost an eye in an industrial accident in the 1920s. Quarterback for Ohio State, his name's Sayin. I'm just saying. Just saying. It is. It's saying. I think as we're kind of getting here closer to the halfway point, we're about there. And it's been burning pretty consistent, not super long, not super slow, maybe just a hair slower than average. The kind of the espresso notes in the cigar have kind of ramped up forward and giving it a much more like robust kind of espresso flavor. The cedar kind of retreats back. It's still got a nice little touch of sweetness to it, and then you're adding in the caramel and the vanilla and the rye spice in the early times, and it's really kind of rolling along in this nice conglomeration of flavors. And then you also have the little bit of the citrus zest, a little orange zest. That just kind of gives it that little extra, you know, zing. Oh, along with toasted oak. I forgot to mention that too. But it is really keeping this pairing nice and lively. It's got a great depth to it. Neither one is overpowering the other. It's a really It is a super time. I'd say really too much, but you know. Dude, face mask. Damn, he ripped his helmet off. A game last night. Dude from Baylor. He was getting tackled. The dude ripped his helmet off, and they didn't call a face mask. I'm like, ref, how can you miss that? It was Baylor and Army. And I think it ended up, not completely sure, but I think it ended up in a tie. I know it had gone to double overtime at 27-27, and I was already tired of watching at that point. But A&M Aggies play tonight. Yes, sir. Gig on. 6 o'clock, ESPN. 6 o'clock Standard Time, Central Standard Time, whatever, wherever I am. This has been a highly defensive battle. Both teams collectively don't have 100 rushing yards yet. That's Rocco next door. He's a miniature Labradoodle, I think. Yeah. He's older, though. He's like 7. He's only like that tall. Where my silver lab, she's about that tall. And I can't even get it on the screen. She's a very long dog with little short legs. And she weighs about 90 pounds. Yep, she's a tank. So you get all kinds of information when you listen to this show. Not only are you getting to hear about a great cigar and a great spirit, you're getting all kinds of stuff. You're getting financial advice. You can learn about dogs, about movies, football, European football. You know. Saw a flag come out there, but I don't know what it was for. It was in the secondary, which would insinuate pass interference. But I didn't think the receiver he didn't catch the ball, but I didn't think there was anybody close enough to be interfering with him. We're going to see here. Hang on just a second. Maybe they're reviewing. I don't know. Apparently no foul on the play. I think sometimes they just throw a flag, like just in case. I'm going to throw a flag right here. I do have to say that the really high content of corn that is in this spirit makes it a very nice, not overpowering sweetness, but a really nice, sweet profile to it. The higher the corn content, the sweeter it's going to taste. By law, bourbon has to be at least 50% corn. This one is, let me do my math again. 79%, and 11% rye, and 10% malted barley. I can't keep track of all that stuff in my head. I got notes, but I have to go up and down and try and figure out things. So I do try and just make it on my own as much as I can. And we're a long ways into this, and OneStreamLive said they're still preparing the stream, but I'm over here, got 15 people watching. Thank you. Hey, share it. Give me comments. A hand wave, a thumbs up, you suck, I love this show, whatever. I don't care. Anything. I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, because I predominantly operate on X, and I'm like, man, I've been building followers like awesome. But my engagement, I don't know. I get a lot of people watching, but nobody ever says anything. So I don't know if they're really watching or what. Maybe I'm just not good at this. I don't know. Been doing it for 5 years though. Ought to be okay. As the cigar is heated up, it has developed a little split right there. Of course, as you're drawing through the cigar, the heat from the cherry comes through the leaves, and it will cause them to expand. And I didn't notice anywhere else that it's done that, but I did notice it right there. So we'll see how it goes. Sometimes there's been some cigars I smoked that, like, halfway through, the wrapper just like comes completely off. And then you're smoking a binder and filler. But I guess you could say that gives you an entirely different cigar than the one you started with, because the wrapper is where most of the flavor is supposed to come from. Probably one reason why I love the San Andres so much, because I love the San Andres wrapper, and I believe the 60 uses a San Andres wrapper too. Those are both from Rocky Patel. I love the San Andres wrapper. It is my favorite cigar leaf by a long shot. And that's from the San Andres region in Mexico. I gotta have something, Cooper Manning, Eli and Peyton's brother, who did not have anything to do with football as far as going pro or anything like that. I'm not even sure he played football. I don't know. But I believe that is Arch Manning's father. I believe. Pretty sure. That's the starting quarterback for Texas. And I hate Texas, University of, that is. But you can't live in Texas and not hear about Arch Manning. You just can't. It's like I'm not I've watched the Cowboys, but I'm not like a Cowboy fan. You can't live in Texas and not know about the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, I say this pretty consistently almost every day during the football season. The Cowboys are not going to be better until they fire their GM, which is the owner, Jerry Jones. He's also the GM. And playing college football 60 years ago does not make you qualified to be a general manager of a professional football team. Dude, you know the money. Deal with the money. With the tickets and the parking and all that kind of stuff. Hire you a general manager that knows pro football. I guarantee you there will be players that are currently on your team that will not be on your team if you have somebody that knows what they're doing. Jerry Jones is the biggest problem with Cowboys football. Problem is, he has family members working there too. I think his son is some sort of executive vice president or something like that. So even if you get Jerry out of the way, you're not going to get the Joneses out of the way. Probably the worst thing they did was let Jimmy Johnson get away from them. And that was a Jerry Jones thing. Jimmy was perfectly fine to go ahead and move on down to Florida full time and just fish every day. That's why when you started seeing him on NFL shows on Sundays, he always had this beautiful tan. It's because he's living in Miami fishing every day, laying by the pool, all that kind of stuff. All right. Some of the people are liking my post where I was saying, hey, I'm going live. You need to join in here live. We're starting to creep up towards 2 dozen. doing good. A couple of weeks ago, I had like 3 dozen. I had like 36 people watching. That's awesome. So far, as we've gotten into the last half here, there hasn't been a tremendous amount of change from the original halfway mark I gave you, where you were getting a little, the cedar was pulling back, espresso was coming forward. You still kind of had the baking spices and stuff in there. But yeah, it hadn't been a lot of change since then. I think it's probably going to stay pretty consistent unless there is something here in the last inch that makes a difference. We'll see. Flash flood warning. It's because it's raining. Ohio State just scored. Hot damn. I want to see Texas lose this game so bad. I'm tired of hearing these Texas people talk about how great they are. And I said this last year, NIL money is ruining college football. Uh-oh. Somebody let the cattle out. It's a commercial. It's pretend. The cows are good for. Make steak out of them. Love steak. Yep, here's Arch Manning doing a commercial for some sort of clothing. Now you can pay amateur athletes. So if you're paying them, that doesn't make them amateur anymore, does it? Yeah. So now between the NIL, name, image, and likeness money, and the transfer window, A&M's got a guy that's going to be playing for him this year. He's a junior. This is his 3rd team in 3 years. At the end of every season, he transfers to a new school where he can get more money. It's like the NFL can't do that. Hey, they're in a contract. They can demand a trade, Micah Parsons, or, they can act like a fool man-child, laying on the training table in your blue jeans because you refuse to play, acting like you're taking a nap, But in college, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going over to this school. I can make more money. All right, bye. It's terrible. And I get all the people, and they're like, oh, yeah, these college athletes, the schools are making so much money. Yeah, but, the original intent behind having college sports like this and giving out scholarships was that so it was a way for people to get a free education. Now then, it's not about that. Now it's about how much money they can make. Hey, this school has a contract with Adidas, but I don't like Adidas. I can make more money at Nike, so I'm going to go over to this school with contracts with Nike, and I can do commercials and all that kind of stuff. It gets very convoluted. Very convoluted. Because what if somebody has got an NIL deal with Nike, but they're playing on a team that the team has a thing with Adidas? Not a fan. Just afraid it's going to ruin college sports. Because now, only the teams that can generate the right NIL will get the best players. Before, you would have these sleepers that would come out of some school that you never get to see on TV. Randy Moss was one of them. I mean, he played for like Jackson State? No. Some school in Mississippi, I believe. and teams that were like rarely ever on TV. And he went on to have a long NFL career, made millions of dollars, but it's going to get to the point that you won't have that. The biggest schools will get all the best players, and everybody else is just fodder. So I do agree with the new playoff system, though. I want them to get that expanded out the way it's supposed to be. That will be that's a good thing. I always thought that there were schools that weren't getting their shot, and it could actually maybe make a little run, even if they didn't get all the way, simply because they weren't in a conference where they could have, the bowl ties. I was watching Tarleton play last night, Tarleton State, and I think I said Baylor played Army. Who did Tarleton State play? I can't remember. Tarleton State is an FSB school, FBS school, whatever it is. They're not Division I. Yet last year they beat New Mexico State, who was a Division I, and their current coach is the winningest coach in their history. He's like 115-58 or something like that. But those kinds of schools, all this NIL stuff, slowly going to start losing the best players, and they're going to go to Division I, and they're going to go to the biggest conferences like SEC, Big 10, Big 12. Is it the ACC now? It was Boise State and South Florida. Both of them are in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Boise State is in Idaho. That's like 1,500 miles from the Atlantic Coast. But the Pac-10 was dying. What was the other one? There was another the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC, I think. And Boise State had been in, I think, both of them. They went and joined the ACC because the ACC gave them a better chance of getting to a really good bowl game and maybe even playing for a national championship. Whether they do or not, it gives them the chance, It's too much wind out here. I can't do it. I got the ceiling fan on too. It doesn't help. Well, the glass is empty. We're getting almost down to the band. The finish on this duo has been really incredible. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. The early times and its kind of oak and orange peel kind of linger side by side with the cigar's kind of woody, spicy tail, and it really does leave you kind of refreshed and satisfied. And as I mentioned before, the cigar's finish drops off fairly quickly, but the early times lingers on, and so it's really kind of an interesting pairing to your palate when you've got the smoke flavors trailing off and the spirit flavors lingering on. I think you'd really, really enjoy this pairing if you give it a try. And it also tells you that a pairing that is accessible, doesn't mean that it's simple. This has got a lot of different palate flavors, a lot of different things interacting together. It's got a really great depth to it, both of them individually and together. But then also, early times, bottled and bond, 100 proof, aged at least 4 years to meet the bottled and bond regulations, is one of the most budget-friendly bourbons available. And this Rocky Patel Sun Grown really fights above its weight, above its price point, with its flavor and complexity. Together, they give you a really balanced and flavorful match that is really robust. And you can hear my 95-pound doorbell in the background there. I would give these two together, I give them an 85 out of 100. I think you'd really, really enjoy them. Might not be your go-to all the time, but it's a really, really great pairing. It is. Really, really, really. Yeah. I say really way too, I say really, really too much. So, I would say this is like a really, or like not a, perfect match, but a really well-suited match for bourbon and cigar lovers that want richness and harmony, but at an everyday friendly price. Definitely. I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify, share it. Just hit the share button. Share, post, done. It's awesome. I love that. That continues to widen my field of listeners. And make comments. I love comments. I love seeing the hearts. I love seeing the thumbs up. I love seeing you're terrible. I don't know, how do you do this or whatever. I don't care. You're great. I love the show. I love all of them because all of them mean that you're watching. Right? And go check out my Printify store. There's a link in my X profile to get to Printify. I have some really great designs out there. My best-selling, I have the Printify store and I have an Amazon store. But I have my best-selling design on both is a shirt. It comes in like 12 colors, I think. It's plain on the front except for the red, white, and blue flag, and it says Sticks-n-Stonez. On the back, it has a picture of a soldier, desert camouflage helmet, M4, all that stuff at the ready, and it has the Isaiah 6:8 Bible verse on it. Up above the soldier, it says, the Lord asked, "Who shall I send, and who shall go for us?" And then down underneath, it says, "Here am I, Lord, send me." That is one of the Bible verses that many. All right, Bayern is up 2-0 over Augsburg. That veterans and military people love to quote because you are really drawn to be in the military. It's not. I mean, anybody can walk into the recruiting office and sign up, but very few do. There's only maybe 2 or 3% of the population that do. So go out there and get one of those for you, your family, friends, whatever. It's great for the Patriots. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Anyway, till we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold. Have a great day.